I want to spend some time giving you knowledge on you're close to winning. In fact, you're so close to winning, the left and the uber left doesn't even know how to deal with it. And they're getting very, very angry. I've lived in New York for, 5 years? I've seen New York. I've seen the ugly side of New York. I've seen the good side of New York. But I have not seen what I have seen in the last weekend. In fact, my wife said she's never going to New York again. It was quite amazing. I want to tell you a little bit about my weekend, and I want to personally thank American Airlines for bringing to my attention that they don't mean American Airlines. They mean liberal American Airlines, apparently. But let me start here. Do you remember when Clint Eastwood got up on stage and he said, there's a lot of people in Hollywood. They just don't make a big deal out of it. Now, why? I've spent a lot of time with a few people in Hollywood that are very big names, and they'll tell you why. They don't have 5 Oscars to their name. They don't have Clint Eastwood's reputation. They don't have John Voight's reputation, where it's John Voight. You want John Voight, you got to take John Voight.
And you know what was interesting about Eastwood's speech was that he only mentioned himself and John Voight. Because those are the two biggest.
They don't say it. Now, why? Why? Because they know they'll never work again. It's blacklisting. And it's wrong if you're a suspected communist or a confirmed conservative. Blacklisting is wrong. I want you to ask yourself, what have we become as a nation? If you have a different opinion, you are boycotted. You're shouted down. You're called worse names than you can possibly imagine. Your home or your business is targeted, sometimes by union thugs, sometimes by 3 street gangs. Your church will be smeared. You'll be made to feel like a pariah in every situation, and they'll do it all in the name of diversity. After a weekend in New York City, I remembered why I was so glad to move out of New York City. It started for me on a Friday night, this last Friday, at a barbecue restaurant. Now, why my daughter, who lives in the city, thought that coming from Texas we should go have barbecue in New York City, it's beyond me, but we did. As we walked in, my wife said, "Oh, my gosh, this is so-and-so, a very famous, barbecue couple that do this barbecue thing, on TV." And I said, "Oh, okay." She said, "It's supposed to be really good." Well, I have to tell you, the look that I was given by those in charge at this restaurant was, "How dare you even come in here?" It was quite amazing. I said to my wife, as we were walking up the stairs, I said, "This isn't going to go well." And she said, "No, this was really a mistake. This is a minority-owned shop. Was that the line that I dared to cross? No, it couldn't be, because there were white people in there. So it must be something else besides my character." It's amazing to me. One would think that you wouldn't want to shun people that might have diverse opinions. Maybe they could put a second door in or another entrance in for people like me. The next morning, we had breakfast in the heart of the land of diversity. I was openly mocked by the patrons, and my wife was begging to leave as she heard the wait staff and management gasp in horror that they actually had to serve me. Lunch was no different. New York City has become a very vile and hateful place if you happen to have a different opinion. It's sad, because I don't see New York as a liberal city. I see New York as one of the greatest cities in America. Not a liberal city, but a city that has a lot of great things in it and a lot of great people in it. who may disagree with me, may not. I've lived in Texas in the last few months, and I had forgotten why I needed my security detail. It's funny, because as I compared New York and Texas, there's not everybody in Texas agrees with me. There's a lot of liberals in Texas. It's funny. We all have a neighbor here in Texas who is an Obama supporter. All of us do. But we're neighbors first, Texans second, and Republicans and Democrats somewhere way down on the list. On the way home, I flew American Airlines, a Texas-based airline. I, unlike all of the other passengers, was not offered the option of courteous service. I don't know why. Did I have to pay more than I paid for my tickets? Is that something that you have to select now? My flight attendant merely barked the word breakfast when he came to me. When others were politely asked if they cared for anything to eat, and given the choices, I was just barked at. When he delivered a soda, he slammed it down so hard I hesitated to even open the can for fear that it would spray all over other passengers in the cabin. By the way, the other passengers, nobody else had to open their can. He opened it and poured it for them. Never once did he look me in the eye. Never once did he offer a kind or even a neutral word to me. I had service unlike I have never had ever before in my life, and I have had rude service before. I lived in New York City. I have never had service that was specifically designed to make me feel subhuman. Oh, I had it. He put on quite a show as he fawned over the other passengers, proudly and loudly performing his life story about being a former Israeli soldier and how he was so proud of the very liberal cities in America. I watched him, and I wondered, does this make him feel better somehow? It's sad, because I think it did. As I sat there, I wondered how many things we would actually agree on. How many things did he actually believe about me that aren't even true? I wondered if he was ever made to feel like a second-class citizen before. I wondered if he had any friends and family in the dark years of Europe that made them feel less productive. I wonder if his friends and family